Good morning, everyone. Today we will be playing another list of Tron. It's the same list as before. I haven't made any changes. I was recommended to drop one Maze Mine Tome for either a World Breaker or a Void Winnower. Sorry, I was trying to remember which Eldrazi's I was recommended to run. I was also recommended maybe to drop Dismember to try out different things. I'm still interested in testing ThoughtKnot Seer, which is what the main game plan is today. I could drop a Maze Mine Tome for a ThoughtKnot Seer, but we're just going to run this through and collect a little more data, hopefully, on whether or not this is any good. Alright, not playing Azorius Turns today. We are playing Tron. Alright, let's see how we do. Alright, round one, here we go. Alright, we'll play first. Tronland, a map, Karn, against a Lurrus deck. This hand is reasonably keepable, but I'm going to 5, and by 5 I mean 4. Or going to 6, I mean, and by 6 I mean 5. Alright, we'll try this. So we're going to put back a Forest and a Maze Mine Tome here. Going to be on a little bit of a slower start, but holy crap, power plants. We'll take an expedition map, rest of the bottom, any order, pass the turn. So the game plan now is to turn 2 Sylvan Scrying for another Tron piece, then turn 3 play the Tron piece, play map, map for the last Tron piece, and then turn 4 Ancient Stirrings, hopefully hit a bomb that we can play on 7 mana or less, and go that route. Alright, opponent starts Swift Spear, Bauble. Crack Bauble, see what we're drawing. They're going to hit us for 2. Okay, they draw an extra card, we draw a map. Play Power Plant. Sylvan Scrying, we'll get mine. Pass the turn. Okay, they play Wooded Foothills, crack Wooded Foothills, they find Stomping Ground. This might be like Naya Burn with Lurrus, that's interesting. Rancor. Hit us for 4. I almost want a map for Blast Zone. And I just might, actually. Depending on what they play this turn. And whether or not we're dead, of course. It would give my opponent back Rancor if I get Blast Zone. We're probably better off just getting the Tron piece and then Ancient Stirrings. Second Rancor. Alright, that's a lot of damage. Is that lethal? We go to 1. Last card in hand is Lava Dart. Okay, that's lethal. So we didn't actually have to make a decision that game. So Weather the Storm in, Spatial Contortion in, Wilt and Wilt in. I think we dropped ThoughtKnot Seers in this matchup. Especially with Rancors, my opponent's creatures are going to be actually large enough that they're going to cause a problem. I'm going to drop an Ulamog, and I think we're actually going to drop the other Ulamog. Try it like this. I don't want to cut the wastes because it's very possible my opponent is playing Blood Moon. Alright. Game 2. We'll play first. I think I'm going to keep this. We have 1 redraw with Chromatic Star. Basically, as long as we don't get Blood Mooned, we have a pretty decent chance at drawing either a Tutor or the 3rd Tron piece. And the fact that we have like Karn, Wormcoil, and Ugin, something to play on with Tron, and something to play immediately after Tron because we have the Forest. I think this is fine, keeping a hand of 7. Okay, so start Mine Star, pass the turn. When it starts Arid Mesa, cracks Arid Mesa, gets a Stomping Ground untapped, and plays a Swift Spear and a Bauble. I'm going to be able to attack for 2 here. Okay, they look at the top card of our deck. We go to 18. They draw a card. We draw a Sphere. Crack Star for green. Draw a card. Karn Great Creator. Play Sphere. Play Tower. Crack for green. Ancient Stirrings. Yeah, I guess we take Expedition Map. Spatial Contortion could be relevant here, but I really doubt we're dying next turn. If my opponent does play Blood Moon, we can Expedition Map to get our Wastes as our 4th land, just in case we do redraw Spatial Contortion, I suppose. And we still have Karn Great Creator that we could play. Okay, opponent hits us for 1, lights up the stage. Plays a Bauble. Ooh, Brushfire Elemental. Alright, we draw Sylvan Scrying, play a Forest, play Expedition Map. So we'll use Map to grab Power Plant unless my opponent plays Blood Moon, at which point we will grab Wastes. Now I just have to not get distracted long enough to remember that. So I don't accidentally grab another mine or tower. I'm embarrassed because it's happened at least 3 times too many across the amount of times I've streamed a Tron. He says, looking at his phone, risking getting distracted. Alright. Pass the turn. Gotta grab Power Plant or Wastes if they play Blood Moon. And they would need a ritual to play Blood Moon. Okay. Opponent shocks a Sacred Foundry. I mean, them being 3 color, they're probably not playing Blood Moon, but could happen, you never know. Cleansing Wildfire on the tower. So, Expedition Map. We will get Power Plant. We will get a 2nd Forest. They play Bauble. Crack Bauble immediately. They attack us for 3. We untap. We draw Wilt. Players as Power Plant. Sylvan Scrying. We'll get a tower. Pass the turn, leave up Wilt. / leave up Cycle Wilt. Okay. Opponent plays a Wooded Foothills. A Soulscar Mage. A Wild Nicotl. Cracks Wooded Foothills. It's a mountain. Goes to combat. Attacks for 1. Sure. Take 1. And we'll cycle Wilt on their end step. Get a Karn. Untap. Play Tower. Play Ugin. -1. Pass the turn. Next turn we could play Wormcoil, Karn Great Creator, or we can just play Karn Liberated. Okay, opponent plays a Tarmogoyf. Temple Garden tapped. We untap. Draw Karn Great Creator. Play a Wastes. Play Karn. Nice. Okay, so our opponent is playing Cleansing Wildfire. That actually means we might want ThoughtKnot Seer, as it's something we can do pretty easily. If my opponent Cleansing Wildfires us, we can just go get our Wastes and then play ThoughtKnot Seer. And I'm going to drop 1 Wilt, because I think it's unlikely that my opponent is playing Blood Moon in a 3-color deck. With an actual considerable number of non-red spells. I still think I would rather have Wilt as a Think Twice over an Ulamog here. It's possible that that is incorrect, but I'm gonna... I feel like this is better in the average case. Like, I would much rather be able to cycle a Wilt away than keep a hand that's actually a mulligan to 1 lower, because I have a 10-drop that I'll never cast in it. The only reason I say it's possibly incorrect is because, like, you can there are situations where, like, you need to Sanctum of Ugin, and you need to answer 2 permanents, so you need to go grab a Ulamog, because, like, Wormcoil doesn't cut it, kind of a situation. It's just a real corner case, and I just feel like it's more unlikely than the other. I've had so much caffeine and coffee this morning. I recorded this after Vintage Cube number 48, where I was mentioning the coffee I had was really strong, and this is the 2nd cup of that coffee, just for something to sip on to keep my mind occupied, but I'm also, like, super loaded with caffeine, so might be getting a little jittery here soon. We'll see. I actually think this hand is quite nice. It's not a fast Tron hand, like, we're not playing anything real big. But I think versus a burn opponent, this hand is fine. So the plan here is to try and set up a turn where Weather the Storm is going to be very good to buy us a ton of time. Opponent starts Mountain, Bauble, nothing. So their hand was a mull to 6 with no early threat. So we're going to start Power Plant, pass the turn. I would love to see them Cleansing Wildfire us, because our plan is not Tron this game right now. It's nice that ThoughtKnot Seers kind of afforded us that possibility. My opponent's hand could also be like a fistful of Tarmogoyfs with no 2nd land and no green source, at which point I would really question why they kept it. Okay, they do have a Stomping Ground. They play a 1/2 Tarmogoyf. Alright, play that tower, because it's real scary. Pass the turn. I mean, if we just assemble Tron, like, that would be awesome. I should, like, theoretically be cracking stars and stuff here, but I think waiting here is okay. Okay, put a Cleansing Wildfire. Get a Wastes. They attack us for 3. Sure. Mutagenic Growth. Make that 6. We untap and we draw Expedition Map. So, play a Forest. Play a map. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays a Swift Spear. Goes to combat. Attacks for 5. Okay, their storm count right now is as high as we could get it. So we're just going to do this right now. Alright, play ThoughtKnot Seer. Take a look at their hand. It's Path and Goyf. Take Path. Pass the turn. Okay, we're going to take 8, no blocks. Opponent plays Tarmogoyf and a mountain. We untap. We draw Karn Liberated. So, play a forest. Play Maze Mine Tome. Play Star. Pass the turn. We're going to have to block here. Yeah, I think our hand was good against everything except triple Tarmogoyf. I really feel like that's the case. Alright, yep. Okay. Alright. Well, we learned something. We did. I think that hand was worth keeping. And maybe I should have held on to Weather the Storm for, like, the ideal hand, because during our last hand we could have triple spelled, but my opponent could have not had an instant, so we could have potentially kept the Tarmogoyfs a little smaller for a bit. Who knows? Alright, I'm gonna mulligan this. Double redraw with Power Plant is tempting, especially with an actual tutor. The problem is, the tutor is awkward. If this was Sylvan Scrying, I would keep this hand, but we don't have that, so going to 4. Okay, well, we'll put back Karn Liberated, Ugin, and Karn Great Creator. Okay, opponent starts Misty Rainforest. We draw Ancient Stirrings, which is a good backup plan. Start with Chromatic Star. Pass the turn. The ideal situation here would be drawing another Tron land in our next 2 draws so that we can Sylvan Scrying and activate Tron. When it fetches up a Watery Grave, this is probably Sultai Uro. They play another Watery Grave tapped. We untap. Draw Expedition Map. Crack for green. Players is mine. Sylvan Scrying. Force of Negation. Pitching Archmage's Charm. It really does look like Sultai Uro. Man, we would have assembled it too. Okay, opponent plays a Glacial Fortress. Draw Ugin. Play Sphere. Crack Sphere for green. Draw Forest. Ancient Stirrings. Take Urza's Mine. Rest of the bottom. Play Mine. Play Map. If they have another Archmage's Charm, they can actually just steal Map. Esper Charm. They're going to make us discard, because we went down to 2 cards in hand. That's what this looks like to me. My opponent, I think, is deciding between draw mode or discard. Oh, it's Kaya's Guile. Alright. Opponent makes a spirit, gains 4 life. Plays a Hallowed Fountain untapped, gets in for 1. We untap, we draw Ulamog. Crack Map. Get Power Plant. Play Power Plant. Pass the turn. So we are currently at 9 mana. We have an Ulamog next turn, which we can use to take out, I guess, our opponent's white mana, potentially. So they play Polluted Delta, they crack it. They get a Mystic Sanctuary, putting Force of Negation on top of their deck. 5 mana. They play Teferi. They're going to draw Force of Negation and untap some lands. They hit us for 1. Okay, they untap, we draw Chromatic Sphere. Play a Forest. Play Ulamog. Nuke Teferi and a Hallowed Fountain. Okay, this opponent has a Force of Negation. If they put Kaya's Guile on top, we would have played Ugin. They attack us for 1. Sure. I'm really interested to see that this is Esper Control and not... Oh, it is Esper Charm. Okay. They do have Esper Charm, that is. They play a Flooded Strand. We untap. Draw tower. So go to combat, attack for 10, make them exile the top half of their deck. We know they're holding Force of Negation. Exiled 2 Path to Exiles. When it goes to 10. Play an Urza's Tower. Play Star. Crack for green. Is it better to resolve Ugin or better to resolve Karn? I think it's better to resolve Karn. So play Ugin. This should get forced, because they can't mana leak it. Alright, they let it go through. Uptick to kill a spirit. Okay, play Karn. Hopefully this gets forced. Alright. Opponent must not have had another blue card in hand. So versus control, Veil of Summers come in. I don't think they would play... Let's see if there's an Esper control list on Goldfish that's shown up recently. Just check Esper Charm. There's not. Okay. In that case, we're going to go ahead and drop Wormcoil Engines, and I think Dismember. Try it like this. It's possible we do want Weather the Storm, or not Weather the Storm, Wilt for something. But I don't know what they're running, and I don't know what they're playing out of the sideboard, so... we have better openers than that. I believe this is one of them. We will put back an Ancient Stirrings. It would be nice to draw a setup where Veil of Summer is useful, but I mean, I'm not going to turn down Natural Tron. Okay, when it starts Flooded Strand, they kept 7. Okay, play an Urza's Mine, pass the turn. Opponent fetches up a Hallowed Fountain tapped. They play a Drowned Catacombs. We untap, we draw Sylvan Scrying. I could go for a slightly slower start here. Maybe they think I don't have Tron and need to be doing these spells. They might blow counter spells early, which would make Veil of Summer better. We're not playing a threat until turn 4 anyway. I think I'm going to try that. Sylvan Scrying. Nice! Pass the turn. Alright. I mean, that's the one thing about decks like Esper Control and all of the other decks that try to win with infinite counterspell value. Yeah, I don't need to search my deck. Decks that try to win with infinite counterspell value, frequently, when players are new to those decks, they will try to counter anything and everything they can, rather than identify what needs to be countered the most. Karn Great Creator is excellent here. Play Power Plant. Pass the turn. If my opponent is a Fulminator Mage, that could be quite bad for us. Okay, opponent plays a Mystic Sanctuary tapped. They're going to mill us. They mill Karn Liberated, 2 Expedition Maps, and a Forest. Okay, we untap. Draw another Veil, which is good. Play Tower. Play Karn. Okay, Veil of Summer. Opponent would need a Force to get through that. And with only 3 cards left in hand, my opponent is kind of running out of steam. Yeah, they decide they can't beat that. Nice. Alright, well, we got a little bit lucky there. I'm not going to complain. I'll see you guys in round 3. Alright, round 3. Here we go. Okay, we definitely have better 6s than this 7. Between the Star and the Tome, I actually think this hand is fine. I'm going to keep, we'll put back the Wastes. Opponent starts Tron Piece Map. We got Natural Tron, so play Mine, play Star. Pass the turn. Alright, so opponent will have Tron on turn 3, which is quite unfortunate for us. Play Power Plant, crack Star for green. Another Power Plant. Play Maze Mine Tome. Go ahead and scry now. Stirrings to the bottom. Pass the turn. I'm scrying on my turn because I'm lazy. Okay. Opponent gets an Urza's Mine, so they do have Tron now. It comes down to who's got the better threat. Okay, opponent has Karn, takes Power Plant. We draw a map. Play Tower. Pass the turn. If my opponent upticks, we're going to give them a Blast Zone. They play a Power Plant. Alright, we'll draw an extra card. Okay. Opponent should just get Liquimetal Coating. Yeah. If they play Coating and activate it on our upkeep, we're done. Oh, yeah, okay. Opponent's smart. Opponent knows how to fight the mirror. So, my opponent is definitely advantaged for the match We have the advantage for this game. I'm gonna drop a Worm Coil Engine because it's very not useful here. Okay, I'm bringing in 2 wilts, dropping Worm Coil and Dismember. Yeah, in Green Tron versus Green Tron, if you go first and you assemble Tron on turn 3, you should win. Because so many of your threats just prevent your opponent from getting to 3 mana. Like, both Karns, you know, there's always the chance that, like, your opponent kept a hand with Tron, but then, like, plays a Worm Coil Engine, because that's just the best thing they have, and then you play Tron, and then you play Karn, and then you win. But that's a lot rarer. I mean, it's happened while I've been recording videos like this. I've beaten opposing Tron players when they were on the play and I was on the draw, just because they kept a hand with Tron and didn't draw anything, or kept an iffy hand and didn't quite get Tron. Okay, this is a mulligan, 100%. This is a turn 4 Tron, which is risky. If my opponent top decks Tron or plays Tron on turn 3 into a Karn, we're done if I keep this hand. But it's close enough that I think I've got to. Okay. If we top deck mine next turn, we're totally fine. If we don't top deck mine, I have to Sylvan Scrying and get mine. Alright, opponent starts Tronland Sphere. We draw another Sylvan Scrying, play Forest. Sylvan Scrying, we will get mine. Pass the turn. They crack Star for green. Ancient Stirrings. They do find a Tron piece. Okay. Play the Tron piece into another sphere. We untap. Draw Maze Mine Tome. So play Urza's Mine. We'll play the Tome, because we're holding the tower. Pass the turn. And let's see if they've got it. They did assemble Tron into Karn Liquid Metal Coating. Oh! I should have scryed, but... Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. Opponent definitely top decked that last Tron piece off the sphere, but that happens, so... Okay. We untap. They turn off Urza's Mine. We draw Ancient Stirrings, so... Fire off Ancient Stirrings. We have to hit Karn Great Creator here. Okay. We get Karn Great Creator. Rest of the bottom any order. Play Tower. And we get to play Karn Great Creator, which shuts off their Liquid Metal Coating. What this means is we can downtick, and we can get... if I had 1 more mana, I could get Sorceress Spyglass and name Karn, and then my opponent wouldn't be able to wish. I think my best bet, though, is to get Walking Ballista. It's going to be our most versatile playable thing next turn. So my opponent has to have something else off of Tron mana, which is quite likely. Because if they're not holding a bunch of lands, they're probably holding threats. Okay, they have a tower. They animate Coding. They hit Karn Great Creator. Down to 1. They play Worm Coil. Okay. They have something else on 2 mana. It's an Expedition map. We untap. Draw Power Plant. So play Power Plant. Play Big Karn. Take them off of Tron. Animate Maze Mine Tome as a blocker. Play Walking Ballista. Pass the turn. Okay. When it untaps, plays a Forest. They have a Wilt. Okay. This means Karn Great Creator is probably going to die. Oh, they're giving me the option. In that case, block here. We'll keep Karn Great Creator. Karn Liberated goes down to 1. We untap. We draw Chromatic Sphere. Uptick Karn on my opponent. Get Sylvan Scrying. Okay. Cast our own Sylvan Scrying or Blast Zone. Play Blast Zone. Play Sphere. This game is a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be, that's for sure. Animate Sphere as a blocker. So now, no matter what, both Karns survive my opponent's next attack unless my opponent has another Wilt or a Spatial Contortion or last Tron land into a threat. And we can tick up Blast Zone to 2 if we want. Okay, opponent starts Ancient Stirrings, which is pretty good. They're not activating Karn. I think that was a mistake. They did get Karn Liberated. They attack our Karn Liberated. So we got a block. Opponent's wishing with Karn. Okay. They can get Sorceress Spyglass, name Karn Liberated, or Blast Zone. This just gives us more reason to take Blast Zone up to 2. Okay, so they get to look at our hand. It's an Urza's power plant. Not sure what they name here. Blast Zone. Okay. We untap. We draw. Karn, Great Creator. Let's take a look at our sideboard here. We can wish for Ensnaring Bridge. And then we could Sundering Titan them off of green if we wanted. Oh, what do we do? I have no artifacts in exile. We could wish for our own Sorcerous Spyglass, but I don't think I want to do that. I think we have to downtick on a Tron land here. We wish with Great Creator. Get Sundering Titan. Play Sundering Titan. Take them off of another mana, and we have a threat large enough to block and kill Wormcoil if we wanted to. Play Power Plant. Play another Karn Great Creator. If I had Pithing Needle here, it would be better. Oh, maybe I did need to get Bridge. We'll get our own Wormcoil, I guess. Maybe I should have gotten Wormcoil instead of Sundering Titan there. I guess we'll find out what the correct choice was. I think I may have misplayed, though. I struggle a lot when I get into sequences that are like this deep, if that makes sense. I'm going to block here. We're going to lose our forest. Opponent gets 2 tokens. I think I'm going to wish for Ensnaring Bridge. It was kind of important to actually kill Wormcoil there so that my opponent couldn't just wish for it. The uptick, it didn't target anything with Karn. Yeah, we draw O-Stone, which I think locks it up. No, it doesn't, because we have to answer their Karn Great Creator before we can do that. So uptick on our opponent. Downtick. I am going to get Ensnaring Bridge. Play Ensnaring Bridge. And I think it's more important to play O-Stone here, because we can put a Fate counter on Karn Liberated. Nope, never mind. We play everything out. We can't activate any O-Stone abilities until we downtick Karn Liberated on Karn Great Creator. Okay, opponent gives up. Sweet. No changes, run it back. We have Tower Map. I think we have to mulligan to try and go for a turn 3 Tron. Going to 5. Alright, this is it. Put back Sylvan Scrying, Chromatic Sphere. And it's going to be whether or not our opponent has it versus whether we have it or not. Okay. Opponent plays Power Plant Sphere. We play Power Plant Map. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Mine. Crack Sphere for green. Ancient Stirrings. It's going to be close. Get a Sphere. They play Sphere. Okay. This is indicative that their hand is either really good, as in like last Tron land already in hand, or really bad. And they're just like trying to mise into a tower here. Well, players is mine. Pass the turn. Okay, do they have it? Yep. Yes, they do. They do have it. So we have to crack map for tower now. And we're going to have another awkward standoff game. Opponent wishes, gets liquid metal coating, plays coating, and passes. We untap. They shut off power plant. That's fine. Draw ancient stirrings. Play tower. Play Karn. And our only play right now is Sphere. An animate Sphere to block. Okay, now it's going to be whoever draws Karn Liberated first. And my opponent is at an extreme advantage to do so, I believe. Alright. I'm going to play Sanctum of Ugin. It's pretty good. Plays an O-Stone. Animates Liquid Metal Coating. Attacks Karn Great Creator. Oh, we got a chump. Okay. Untap. We draw a power plant. I guess we wish for Worm Coil Engine. Play Power Plant. Play Worm Coil. I could play out Tome and Map. I think it's worth playing Tome this turn. You know what? I am gonna play it out because it's possible I want to get Ensnaring Bridge. We'll see what happens. Okay, pass the turn. This does give me the option of animate Tome and attack Karn next turn. Sundering Titan, unfortunately, not good here because my opponent has no typed lands, and neither do we, so it's not really that big of a risk, but opponent is wishing to try and find something useful. If they get Ensnaring Bridge, we can animate Tome to kill their Karn, and if we do that, we can activate our map, get a forest, play Forest, Ancient Stirrings, and have a great chance at hitting Karn Liberated to just win the game. I mean, I'm not sure it absolutely wins the game on the spot, but depends on what our opponent has here. Okay, Sorceress Spyglass. Opponent names. If they name Karn Great Creator, that's also fine. We don't need to wish anymore from this position. Big galaxy brain play would be to name Expedition Map. Could they have a way to kill Worm Coil Engine at instant speed? If they have a Dismember, they can shrink it small enough that it won't kill Karn. They play a second O-Stone, and they name Karn. They don't want me to wish any more than I have. Okay, so this should be fine. We don't need to animate anything. We draw ThoughtKnot here. That's a fine backup plan. Go to combat, kill my opponent's Karn. Okay, we unlock our Tome, crack map, get a forest, play forest, start with a scry, leave it on top. Ancient Stirrings. Karn Liberated. Rest of the bottom. Play big ol' Karn. Downtick, exile Tower. Pass the turn. Opponent is now off of Tron and must have Tron in addition to whatever plan they had. Must have Tower in addition to whatever plan they had to try and win this game. They do have a Tower. No further plays. Okay. We untap. Scry on our upkeep. Scrying to the bottom. The reason we're scrying and not drawing is like, in case we draw another Karn Liberated, I guess. Maybe drawing was fine there. Play ThoughtKnot here. Take a look at our opponent's hand. We can kind of sculpt their hand, potentially, to take something better with Karn. We can also take them off of a potential threat. Like if they have Ulamog, as an example. Take Ulamog. Opponent has Thragtusk, Sylvan Scrying. Uptick on our opponent. Man, ThoughtKnot Seer was super good there, let me tell you. Because, like, my opponent just needed a top deck of Tron land, and we were, like, boned. Play an Urza's Mine, go to combat. Swing for 6. So, my opponent would need to top deck Karn Liberated and downtick on Karn Great Creator. They would have to downtick on our Karn Liberated. We would kill their Karn. Yeah, I think we got him. Opponent is going to play Thragtusk here. That's fine. Yep, they gain 5. Pass the turn. We untap. We draw Expedition Map. Okay. Downtick our Karn. Take out Sorceress Spyglass. Unlock Karn Great Creator. Downtick Great Creator. Get Liquimetal Coating. I guess we draw with Tome first before we play Coating, because we could still hit Ulamog. Play Coating. Play Map. Scrying for a redundant tower. Play the tower. No attacks. We're going to play a little conservatively here just so that we have a perfect blocker for Worm Coil. Or a perfect blocker for Thragtusk. I don't want to give my opponent an extra draw by blocking with ThoughtKnot here. On my opponent's upkeep, shut off tower. Now they only have 6 mana, they can't play Karn Liberated. And next turn we're going to start blowing up 2 permanents a turn. 2 lands, I should say. Okay, opponent has a second Thragtusk, but that shouldn't matter. I guess I technically should activate Expedition Map on their end step, getting Sanctum of Ugin. If I want to be absolutely technically correct. No attacks for our opponent. Okay, we untap. We draw, mine. So let's draw an extra card, see if we can hit Ulamog. Okay, gain 4, draw a card. Down tick on tower. Uptick Karn Great Creator on mine. Play Sanctum. And now we play Protect Karn Great Creator. If Karn Liberated dies, it's not that big of a deal. But I don't want my opponent to navigate into a position where potentially they can activate O-Stone, because we definitely lose in that exchange. Okay, opponent Sylvan Scryings. Gets tower. Plays the tower. Yep. Attack Karn. So we block and trade. And if my opponent draws something they can't play, we uptick Karn Liberated to get rid of it. They get 2 beasts. Okay. We untap. Draw. Power plant. Uptick Karn on our opponent. Opponent exiles Karn. Laners is mine. We have access to 10, too much mana. So we wish, and this will seal it up. Let's get Sundering Titan. Play Sundering Titan. Sack Sanctum. Get Ulamog. Sundering Titan enters, and that's the game. ThoughtKnot Seer was pretty good, not gonna lie. We could have gotten absolutely owned by Ulamog if that wasn't the case. Alright, well I will restart the client and see you guys in round 4. Alrighty, round 4, here we go. We lost the die roll. Can't keep that hand. Can't keep that one either. Alright, I think I'll risk it. Put back Ulamog. Do I want to keep a second tower, or do I want to have a scrying? I want to put back the tower. Okay, opponent starts Temple of Epiphany. That's frightening. Can we draw a Maze Mine Tome? Play Power Plant, pass. Temple of Epiphany is played in land destruction decks. Occasionally is played as like a one-of in some blue-red blitz, I think. Okay, they have Spell Snare. So this is probably blue-red control. Reflecting Pool. Okay. Am I getting... Oh, okay. Deceiver Exarch. Is it Kiki combo, then? They tap tower. Play Sphere. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Spire Bluff Canal. Gets in for 1. We untap. Draw Power Plant. Crack Power Plant for green. We get Karn Great Creator. Sylvan Scrying for mine. Okay, opponent has Remand, which is incredibly bad for us. Play Power Plant, pass the turn. And do we get Kiki'd? They attack for 1. Draw a forest. Play a forest. Attempt to Scrying for a mine. Okay, opponent had Archmage's Charm for anything we were going to play there. Hit us for 1. Draw another forest. Ancient Stirrings. Playing Ancient Stirrings to potentially resolve Karn Great Creator here. Okay. Wish. Opponent has no mountains or islands. So, Sorceress Spyglass. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Reflecting Pool. Attacks Karn for 1. We draw Sylvan Scrying. Attempt to Sylvan Scrying. Get an Urza's Mine. Play the Mine. Play Spyglass. Second Deceiver Exarch. You're going to untap one of their own lands, maybe? Yep. Okay, so it's probably another Archmage's Charm or similar counterspell. Okay. Play Karn. Oh, shoot. Actually, I probably should have gone and gotten Walking Ballista to kill Kiki. So now I have to downtick on a land and uptick this Karn. Pass the turn, and our opponent has to not have untapped land Kiki, which they haven't had Kiki for like 2 turns, and they missed a land drop, so that tells me they probably drew a land this turn. So they attack Little Karn. We untap and draw Chromatic Sphere. Uptick Karn on their hand. We get a Flame Slash. Oops, hang on. Play Ugin. Nice! Whew! Alright, tough matchup. So, definitely want Veils. Wormcoil not as good here. Strangely enough, ThoughtKnot probably good in this matchup. I don't think we want Oblivion Stone. I have no idea if my opponent is playing Blood Moon. It is a possibility. I think I'm going to drop a Maze Mind Tome for a Wilt. We'll try it like this. I suspect there are some Cleansing Wildfires in our future, which might mean we're on the ThoughtKnot Seer plan. Okay, I don't like this hand. Yeah, we can still do better. Alright. Put back Sanctum and Mine. Opponent starts Spire Bluff Canal. This is one time I will start with Tower, because we have 2. So if my opponent Cleansing Wildfires, that will let me leave up Veil of Summer while also assembling Tron. We draw a Wilt. Not going to take a turn off of playing Tron. Not yet, anyway. Okay, opponent plays Reflecting Pool. We draw Karn. I'm going to play Power Plant, and I'm not going to play anything else. I'm going to wait a turn here and see if we can resolve Karn with Veil of Summer back up. Okay. Opponent Valakut Awakenings. They draw 4 cards. So I think they put back everything but 1 card in their hand. They untap. They play Spire Bluff Canal. Cleansing Wildfire on Tower. That's actually fine, because we have a tower in hand. We get a forest. Something's telling me to hold on to this Wilt, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Play Tower. Jam Karn. They've got a Force, we have a Veil. Okay, Karn resolves. Only have 4 cards in hand, but it's very important to keep them off of mana. So exile Spire Bluff. Pass the turn. They play a mountain. They pass, we draw Ancient Stirrings. Start by casting Ancient Stirrings. This does give them an opportunity to bolt Karn. It tells me they probably don't have a bolt. We'll take Tome. Rest of the bottom. Uptick on our opponent's hand. They could have Deceiver Exarch on tap, play Kiki. That would suck. We get another Spire Bluff Canal. Play a Forest. We can either play Tome and draw, which potentially can get us Dismember. I'm just going to try playing out Ugin. Okay, Cryptic. They counter Ugin. They bounce Karn. At least means we're not dying to combo this turn. Opponent plays Minamo. They're going way out of their way to not play any basic islands, it looks like. Play Wastes to play around Mana Leak. Play Karn. Another Cryptic. Okay, play Maze Mind Tome. Spell Snare. I only have 1 card left in hand. Cleansing Wildfire on Tower. Okay. We still have a pretty decent amount of mana, and we are holding a Sylvan Scrying. We're actually holding 2 Sylvan Scryings, so let's Sylvan Scrying for a Tower. Play Tower. Pass the turn. So it's actually really unlikely my opponent has Blood Moon. They Archmage's Charm to draw cards. Cycle Wilt. Untap. We draw Ugin. Deceiver Exarch. Tapping down Tower, sure. Play Ugin. Opponent has a Remand. Okay. Opponent untaps. Opts. Attacks us for 1. We untap. We draw Karn, Great Creator. They're going to peek at our hand. Play Ugin. -3 Ugin. Play Scrying. Get a Tower. Play Karn Liberated, or not Karn Liberated, Karn Great Creator. And Wish. I think I just get Walking Ballista. Okay. I feel like I probably should have played Karn Great Creator first, because if they have another Deceiver Exarch, untap and play Kiki, we're screwed. Yup, that might be what's happening here. They bolt Karn, okay. Yep. Alright. You got me. Going on to game 3. I'm going to drop Wilt for Spatial Contortion, and no other changes. We'll play first. We can do better. I got a feeling we can still do better than this. But we do have Veil, Ancient Stirrings, and a redraw from Sphere. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. Put back Sanctum. Start Power Plant Map. Pass the turn. Opponent starts Temple of Epiphany. We untap and draw Karn Great Creator. play Forest. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays a Spire Bluff Canal. Crack map. Get a tower. Untap. Draw Sylvan Scrying. Play tower. Play Stirrings. Kind of want this to get countered. Okay. Play Sphere. Crack it for green. Stirrings. Okay, we get Urza's Mine. Tron assembled, basically. They'd have to have a Cleansing Wildfire here, which would mean they're tapping most of their mana to do that. They play Reflecting Pool. They pass, we draw Maze Mine Tome. Play Mine. Play Karn. Play Veil. Draw Ugin. Karn resolves. Down tick. We're going to get Trinisphere. Play Trinisphere. Because if they have a Lightning Bolt to answer Karn, we want them to use all of their mana to do it. If they play an Obero, we untap. Draw Karn Liberated. Play Big Karn. Okay. Pass the turn. We were going to uptick Karn there, so we didn't really miss out on too much. Okay, opponent plays a Cascade Bluffs. We untap. Draw Ugin. Attempt to play Karn. Pestermite. I think I said Ugin, I meant to say Karn. Alright. They remand Karn. Sylvan Scrying. Get a tower. Play a tower. Play Karn. Wish. We'll get Walking Ballista. Pass the turn. Opponent has to have Kiki here to win. They play a tap land. 3 mana for an opt. Okay, opponent can do nothing else. They hit Karn down to 2. We untap. Draw Mine. Play Mine. Play Ugin. Kill Pestermite. Nice! Sweet! We beat Kiki combo. That was a pretty sweet list, though. I'll see you guys in round 5. Alright, round 5, here we go. I mean, the plan is to play Karn to Great Creator on turn 4 with the potential for Tron on turn 3 to play Karn and something nasty. I'm going to keep this. Multiple redraws make it feel better. Play Power Plant, play Sphere, pass the turn. I mean, obviously, best draw would be Sylvan Scrying here. See what our opponent's on. A Marsh Flats deck. Draw Wormcoil Engine. Crack Star for green. Play Tower, and we'll play Maze Mine Tome. This lets us get 2 scries before our draw step, which is 1 more look than Star would give us. If we were to draw a Sylvan Scrying, that'd be the only way this is technically worse, and it's not even that bad. Another Marsh Flats for our opponent. Scry on their end step. O-Stone to the bottom. Untap. Scry on our upkeep. Ancient Stirrings to the bottom. Draw Karn Liberate. Okay. Play Sphere. Crack Sphere for green. Ancient Stirrings. Okay. Urza's Mine. Never, didn't, always have it. Pass the turn. We did assemble Tron on turn 3. Unfortunately, we did not have anything to do with our 2 leftover mana. I suspect my opponent is playing Marsh Flats and not cracking them to hide their mana from a Karn Liberated. And also hide what they're playing. We did get game 1, which is nice. Let me take a look at what decks are playing Marsh Flats in the metagame, because we are in the 3-in-1 slot. In Modern, it's Rakdos Death Shadow with no Lurrus that is playing Marsh Flat. Oh no, they are playing Lurrus, okay. That is the only recent list that has 5 Ode with Marsh Flats in Modern. Interesting. And our opponent did not have a companion that we saw. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a Maze Mind Tome for a Wilt, just to kind of hedge my bets, and run it back. Okay. I'm not going to keep a no-lander. This is turn 3 Tron into Karn. I will keep that. I'm going to put back Chromatic Sphere. Okay. When it starts Bloodstained Mire, so it would appear as though they are a Mardu deck. Play Urza's Mine into Chromatic Star. We're playing Mine here in case my opponent plays a Cleansing Wildfire. I want to have... When it fetches up a Swamp. Interesting. This could be a Blood Moon setup. That would make a lot of sense. Play Power Plant. Crack Star for green. ThoughtKnot Seer. Sylvan Scrying. We will get Tower. If my opponent is playing Blood Moon, we're going to make them have it. Blackcleave Cliffs. Blood Moon. Alright, I'm glad I put Wilt in the main deck. Play Tower. Play Sphere. Crack Sphere for green. Okay. My opponent only has 2 cards left in hand, which means whatever they're doing is probably really slow. They Thoughtseizes us, so they can take our only current playable of Karn Great Creator. I almost grabbed Wastes off that Sylvan Scrying. Okay, it appears to be Rakdos Pyromancer, or Mardu Pyromancer. Players as Tower, play Maze Mind Tome. And we're just going to draw a card. Well, technically we can hide cards from Thoughtseize effects, so that's probably correct here. Play Maze Mind Tome, pass the turn. Opponent discards Scourge of the Skyclaves. Okay. Get a Lightning Bolt or a Kroxa. And they're going to play Kroxa. Okay. When it puts triggers on the stack, we're going to go ahead and draw an extra card here. And I'm going to discard ThoughtKnot Seer. I don't want to take any damage because my opponent's playing Scourge of the Skyclaves. Alright, we untap. Could have scryed before we drew. Play an Urza's Mine. Play an O-Stone. Pass the turn. We're going to draw an extra card off of Maze Mind Tome here. Opponent discards Inquisition of Kozilek, getting in a Braid, which they will probably use to hit our O-Stone. Yep, that makes sense. Draw an extra card. It's a Sphere. Untap. We draw Karn Lib. Okay, play Forest, play Star, play Sphere, pass the turn. And we are going to try very hard to draw a Wilt. Alternatively, a land just lets us play Karn, which is probably good enough. Opponent discards Marsh Flats, reveals Seasoned Pyromancer and a Braid. Okay, they're going to play Seasoned Pyromancer and discard their last card in hand. It is an Unearth. They get a token from it. Okay, so passing to our opponent's end step. Crack Sphere for green, draw a card. It's a Forest. Crack Star for green, draw a card. It's a map. Draw a card with Maze Mind Tome. It's a tower. Untap. Do we scry or do we draw? I think we scry. Okay. Gain 4 life. Top of our deck is Ancient Stirrings. I will draw Ancient Stirrings. Okay. Play a tower. 7 mana achieved. The long way around. Play Karn. Nuke Blood Moon. We unlock our opponent's mana, and we unlock our own as well. This is why I kept Ancient Stirrings. If my opponent does something like play Moon, it's not going to matter as much because we can still Ancient Stirrings, or we can play our other Karn. If my opponent has straight up land destruction like a... my opponent might just play Kroxa here, at which point we're going to try an Ancient Stirring. Oh, they have a second Blood Moon. Okay. So they kill Karn, they hit us for 4 down to 20. Alright. We untap. Draw Expedition Map. Start with an Ancient Stirrings. Take Ulamog. Rest to the bottom. Play a Forest. Karn 2. Exile Blood Moon Boogaloo. Pass the turn. Okay, they discard Skelemental. They play Skelemental. They can kill Karn, hit us for 6, force us to discard 2 Expedition Maps. Okay, discard Map and Map. Is their last card? Okay. Oh, their last card's Unearth for Kroxa, so we have to discard Ulamog. The good news is right now we can play anything we can draw. Bad news is it's only an Expedition Map. Play a map, pass the turn. Yeah, they're going to reanimate Kroxa. Alright, that is unfortunate. I could have gotten Blast Zone last turn, which may have been the play. So we take 7, we're going to 4. We basically have to top deck Ugin. We could hit Karn, Great Creator. So you're going to thin our deck with Expedition Map here. We're going to get Sanctum of Ugin. Untap. We draw Chromatic Sphere. So play the Sphere. Crack it for green. Okay, play Sanctum. Play Karn. Wish. Will use its ability. I think we have to get Ensnaring Bridge to stay alive. My opponent is playing Abrades and probably K commands. So we're dead to 2 burn spells. We're dead to Artifact Destruction. On a plays Bloodstained Mire, cracks Bloodstained Mire, gets a Blood Crypt untapped. They activate Magmatic Channeler, discarding Blood Crypt, getting a Lightning Bolt, which they can use to kill Karn Great Creator. Okay, they do. They can't attack, though, thankfully. We untap. We draw a Sylvan Scrying. So cast Scrying, get Blast Zone, play Blast Zone, pass the turn. I am going to take it up to 2, but I don't know. I'm not going to crack it immediately, I think, because that gives my opponent the ability to replay Kroxa and potentially kill me with Kroxa activation and Lightning Bolt. Opponent discards Kroxa. Matters a little bit less now. Opponent reveals Seasoned Pyromancer, which will give them multiple redraws. Okay, they play Seasoned Pyromancer. They're going to draw 2 cards. They play Sunbaked Canyon, which gives them a redraw. They crack Sunbaked Canyon. I think we need an Ugin into, like, an Ulamog to win. Okay, 2 counters on Blast Zone. Or 1 counter added, 2 counters total. We untap. Draw Wormcoil Engine, which cannot attack. Pass the turn. Unfortunately, does not sack Sanctum of Ugin, because Sanctum of Ugin counts spells that are 7 or greater. Opponent, I believe, is reanimating their other Kroxa here. Okay. They can just Legend Rule 2 Kroxas in a row, or they can just bolt us to death. If I held Wormcoil, we were still dead, because my opponent could attack for 1 and then bolt us. That's sad, because we just drew too many lands. Knowing that they're Mardu Pyromancer now, I'm going to bring in the other Wilt, and I'm actually going to drop Dismember. I don't think I need it. I could bring in Veil of Summer for the Hand Hate, but I just don't think we need it. Okay, round 3, we're on the play, which is an advantage for us. This is a turn 3 Tron with potential Ugin on turn 4. I'm going to keep. I'm like super dehydrated. I'm going to need to go drink a bunch of water. Okay, play an Urza's Mine, play Chromatic Sphere. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Plays a Marsh Flats, cracks it, gets a Swamp. Thoughtseize, they're going to take Sylvan Scrying here because I think they have to. Okay, they do. We untap. Draw Karn Great Creator. Crack this for a green. Get an Ancient Stirrings. Play a Tower. Play Sphere. Get 1 extra draw, cracking this for green. Now Ancient Stirrings. Unfortunately, no Power Plant. I will take another Urza's Mine. Rest of the bottom. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Thoughtseize again. They probably take Star... Well, they could take Karn Great Creator here. That would be reasonable. Okay, they take Star. They want to stop us from getting all these redraws. We untap. We draw a Power Plant like it didn't even matter. Play Karn. Wish. Get Trinisphere. Play Trinisphere. Now they have to have a land and tap out for whatever they're going to play on their turn. The fact that they had untapped red mana and probably a Lightning Bolt is the exact reason why I did not get Liquimetal Coating. Okay, opponent plays a Sunbaked Canyon. Skelemental. Alright, well, discard the 2 lands. I think we gotta hope to draw a land and play Ugin here. Or another threat. Okay. We draw Sylvan Scrying, pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays a Bloodstained Mire. Magmatic Channeler, we untap. Play Power Plant. Resolve Ugin. Uptick, kill Channeler. Pass the turn. If my opponent has like Bedevils or Dreadbores, they're still in the game. If they don't, we're probably winning. They sack Sunbaked Canyon, so unless they have a land, they can't play anything. They play a Sunbaked Canyon. They play Skelemental, they attack Ugin down to 3. Okay. That stops Ugin from being a threat for a while. We draw Karn, Great Creator, and I think that's going to end up doing it here. We uptick Ugin, deal some damage, play Karn, wish with Karn, and if I want to be super, super safe, I can get a Ensnaring Bridge. Grafdigger's Cage is fine as well. I think I'm just going to make them have the removal for Karn and play Coding. Oops, tapped the wrong land. Okay, pass the turn. We'll turn off Sunbaked Canyon. Okay, opponent does not panic sack. And opponent scoops it up. We go 4-1 with Mono Green Tron. Been a while. Super excited. I actually really liked how ThoughtKnot performed that match. We won versus the opposing Tron list because of it, basically. Yeah, let's open our treasure chests. Treasure chest number 1, 35 play points and a painful quandary. Alright, we beat the average. Treasure chest number 2, 5 play points, a Bone Dragon and a Leyline of the Void. Leyline of the Void clocking in at least 5 tickets. Nice, we definitely beat the average here as well. Treasure chest number 3, 10 play points and a Helldozer. Oh my god, I played this in EDH and everyone hated me. Oh, love you, Helldozer. Alright. Treasure chest number 4, 35 play points, beating the average again, and an Upwelling. Okay. We've only not beaten the average on one treasure chest. Last treasure chest, we get a Fetid Heath, which I don't believe is worth anything, and 10 play points. Fetid Heath is like 50 cents. Alright. Overwhelmingly positive from chests there. I think the list performed quite good. Quite well. Yeah, I think dropping a Mazemind Tome, and either playing a third ThoughtKnot or dropping a Dismember for a third ThoughtKnot could be fine. One thing that I think might be interesting, is worth consideration, and something I may experiment with. I'm not 100% on this yet, because I don't want to run more than 19 land. In fact, 19 land is kind of iffy. I'm only doing it to run the 5th basic. If I could find a way to slot an Eldrazi Temple into this list, to give us a potential for like a turn 3 ThoughtKnot Seer off of a map, or just like a really strong opener with like Eldrazi Temple, you know, like Tron land, and oh, we didn't get Tower, but we have Eldrazi Temple. It might be like the only slot that I can fit it in is the Waste slot. And I'm a little hesitant to do that because of the propensity of Blood Moon and Cleansing Wildfire and stuff like that. I think the 5th basic is really important. If I could find a way to slot it into the deck list without making it the 20th land, I will do it, but I'm not 100% on that. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know I did. I'll try and leave the list in the description. And if you like this video, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you are so inclined. It'd mean the world to me if you did. Costs you nothing and supports me greatly. Don't know when the next stream is going to be, but hopefully sooner rather than later. I hope my parents' internet is good enough to stream. If not, you'll at least have the opportunity to watch my daily videos still. I'm going to have them pre-recorded for my travel time, and my internet should be good enough to at least upload videos, even if it takes a little bit longer. Anyway, I've rambled enough. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!